Hi, we're from The Upcoming, an online magazine. Thank you for your time.
No problem.
First of all, welcome back to London, guys. It's been a while, I think, or a couple months.
Yeah, June I think was maybe the last time we were here.
So we're all excited to have you guys back. Have you done anything fun yet in London since you got here, or?
No, nothing fun. Just straight to the venue, straight to sound check.
Yeah.
There's rarely a time where you ever get to see any of a city, basically.
But what would you say is your favourite place in London? You've seen so far.
I got to have a really nice meal one time in one of Otto Lenge's restaurants in Soho.
Okay.
It was the best meal I've ever had in my life.
Okay.
I can't remember what the restaurant was called, but it was ridiculously, far too expensive for me, but I got to do it one time. That was pretty good.
Congratulations on your new album.
Thank you.
And the vinyl. We think it's great. We love it. Can you guys describe the album making process? What was that like?
Well, it was a little bit different to what we'd done previously with the previous two albums. For those ones, the songs were written the other way around, so Louis would maybe bring the lyrics either fully formed or maybe just a verse or a chorus, and then we'd kind of arrange the music around that. Whereas this time we were starting completely from scratch, so we just wrote the music all together, and then Louis added his words afterwards on top. So it was the opposite way around. So it took a bit longer because it was a new process. It was quite challenging, but I think hopefully of benefit. And there's more, I guess, more different bits of music and influences from everyone in the room probably.
What would you say is your favourite song off the new album?
Don't know.
Sort of go through phases, and especially once you've played them live, they kind of change and go through different stages. I think I'm trying to think. I enjoy playing Evangeline live, that's quite fun. And I was saying to someone else the other day, it kind of in a way sums up the newer songwriting approach and the newer sound in a way, because it has a little bit of some of the new things that we've been trying, like using the clarinet in a different way and little bits of programmed drums and things like that, and then the way the song is structured is a little bit different to what we would have done before. And it's fun.
So like a lot of your friends say, Tiny Rewards has a different feel to it compared to your first two albums. Is there a reason why you decided to change things up?
Just that we'd been playing music together for 5 or 6 years at that time, and it felt like it was natural that we approach things in a slightly different way. I think we could have easily made another album that sounded not too dissimilar to the first two, but I just felt like a natural time to shake it up a wee bit.
So your selection of instruments is very interesting, and I think that's a great part of your band. What was the reason behind the instruments you chose, and how did that come together?
Well,
I mean, originally we were just playing the instruments that we played, so Sarah would be playing flute, Kevin would be playing clarinet. We were already a band before we got into even playing electric guitar stuff, basically. So we just added stuff as we went, and that's probably one of the reasons why the first record is based around a lot of acoustic instruments. If you jump forward 4 or 5 years to now, we've added a lot more electronic elements to the mix, as Sarah already mentioned, aspects of drum machines, vintage synthesizers, lots of pedals and lots of effects, and you can hear a lot of that going on in the new record, particularly compared to the first record. So it's really just whatever excites us and what interests us. But the woodwind thing in particular is something that's a bit of a kind of ever present for us. So yeah.
What would you say is your dream duet or collaboration?
Dream collaboration.
Any artists you particularly want to
I think somebody asked us this before, and I can't remember what I said.
Well, Radiohead would be good.
Oh yeah, that was it. That was it.
Watching.
That was it. Aye. I think I'd probably feel too intimidated to be working with him, though. That'd be pretty good. Yeah, that's a good answer. Let's go with that.
Okay. And how would you describe your music in one word?
In one word?
Yes.
Dance.
Yeah, that's quite good. Yeah, the new stuff. Dance.
Doesn't particularly make anyone want to listen to it, probably, but anyway.
Okay. So who or what do you think inspired you guys to create the music you create? Any particular artists or bands, or was it more personal inspirations, or?
It's probably, I think it probably varies for different people, but
Yeah.
I would say it's more of probably almost an unconscious thing, just all your different stuff that you've listened to and
Right.
music you played and meeting each other and that you kind of bounce off each other, and that's quite a vague answer, but I think it just sort of bubbles away on its own level, and then it probably just comes out somehow.
Did
in
you
music.
guys listen to growing up? Did you listen to music similar to that, or did you kind of take what you heard and kind of invent your own kind of style?
I don't think necessarily similar to the music we make.
Okay.
I think, well, I certainly listened to a lot of music when I was younger. Growing up, my mum and dad, and particularly my older brother, played a lot of music in the house, so I would just hear stuff coming through the wall, anything from
Yeah.
the Beatles to the Mars Volta to loads of stuff in between, you know. So it's all just, it's a weird thing. Like the genre thing doesn't really come into it. I think if something's really good, no matter what genre it is, it excites your ears, and you maybe take elements of that, whether you, as Sarah says, whether you're conscious of that or not.
Yeah.
Something that's exciting, you try and get involved with that kind of thing.
Do you guys have a favorite artist or band, or just a bit of everything?
Not really a sort of number one favourite. We all went to see Sufjan Stevens not so long ago in Edinburgh when he toured, and we're all quite big fans of his, and that was a particularly amazing show. The latest record is definitely one of his best, so that was quite a nice experience to share. He's maybe not sort of, I don't really have an all-time number one
Me
favourite
neither.
person, but that was that was an amazing show to kind of witness, and how he took what is quite a sort of simply made album and translated that into like a full band show was particularly interesting. So let's go for him.
Which song of yours would you say best represents you or the band?
Which song?
That's really
a song of
difficult.
ours.
Yes.
Best represents. I don't know.
Maybe with a specific like story behind it that means a lot to you, or that really represents you, or anything
Well,
like
the
that.
the lyrical thing is like, because I kind of deal with the lyrical side of the music. Most of the songs are quite personal to me, so I'll have all of them, and then the others can just dot in when
I
they
think
want to.
maybe something like Building Us Foreign from the most recent album. It kind of, in another way, it uses like personal themes of Louis and then the new sound, and there's quite a lot involved in there, and we all chucked lots of music at it, so that probably would represent us all the most.
Okay. If we were to look at your iTunes or Spotify library, what would be your most recent songs? What would we find?
I've actually got a playlist playing outside just
Okay.
now, like for people coming into the show, and there's music on it by John Grant and by Sufjan Stevens and The Walkmen, and who was just playing a second ago? Sun Kill Moon.
Natalie Prass.
Natalie Prass is on there. Yeah,
Yeah.
stuff like that for now has been floating my boat.
So what would you say is the overall message of the music you create?
Don't know if there's an overall message to be taken from it. I think all we try and do is make music that hopefully people can relate to on some level, whether it's something that excites them to listen to, or whether it's something that's a bit more they can take from in terms of a lyrical point of view. That's all
Is there
we
any
really
common
ever.
theme throughout your songs, or is it just?
No, I mean they're all kind of their own thing really. They're not. I don't think we've ever really made an album that's like a concept record, for example, that has a sort of thread running through all of it. There are themes on this latest record that crop up a little bit. There's a fair bit of kind of self-doubt, and that's possibly partly to do with we were jumping into making music in a new way and not really knowing what we were doing about that, but so the kind of fear / excitement that comes with that sort of thing. I don't think there's not a sort of overall.
Okay.
Like we've been making music for 7-8 years now, so there's not one thing that kind of runs through it, but
Yeah.
I guess each record at least has its own kind of place in time.
Okay. So how would you say the reaction of the crowd changes between England, Scotland, continental Europe? Like, do you see a difference in the way the audience reacts to your music?
One thing that's pretty cool is that they're always quite. Most of the crowds that come to see us are always quite attentive, which is pretty cool, and that's been. We've been lucky enough to go and play over in North America and over in Australia as well,
Right.
a couple of years ago, and no matter where we go, it seems to be that people are quite attentive and like to listen to the songs, which is quite surprising considering that they are quite dynamically, they're kind of all over the shop. There's a lot of stuff that's kind of quiet and downbeat and slower, and then there's some stuff that's a bit more kind of upbeat and kind of almost party songs. So it's kind of surprising when you come off like a little curve in the set that's maybe been quite up, that people are still quite attentive and not just chatting. That's not to say that doesn't happen sometimes, but I think a general thing overall is that everyone's always up for listening, which is all we really need. Yeah.
So what can we expect to hear tonight? Is it mostly new songs or a good mix? Or
A pretty good mix across the 3 albums, and we've been enjoying changing up the set list a bit over the last year. Well, this kind of since the album came out, we've done a few shows here and there, and to begin with it was quite new song heavy and trying to learn how to play them.
Yeah.
A lot of that came because we recorded all these different layers. Learning how to recreate that live or reimagine it live was another challenge that came with it. So we spent quite a while doing that, and then since then we've kind of brought in a few more of the old ones, and hopefully it's quite evenly balanced between them all.
What are you most excited about playing tonight?
I don't know.
There's a song that we've kind of pulled off like the bonus disc or the vinyl release of this album called Broughty Ferry, which is kind of the newest thing that we've worked out how to play.
Okay.
So that's still quite exciting because it's
Yeah.
still new and you're still kind of feeling your way around the chords and stuff like that. I'll go for that one. It'll definitely be a low point of the set because it's quite slow and fairly somber, but it'd be exciting for me.
Okay. What would you say is your most memorable show you've played, and why?
It's been, well, we've done quite a good variety of different things,
Right.
and sometimes they're memorable for different
Different
reasons.
reasons,
I think, well, one nice one that we did was in Glasgow, and it was coming towards the end of a tour, and it was about this time, sort of about 3 years ago, something like that, and it was in a big venue in Glasgow, and it felt like a nice homecoming, and all our pals were there, and it was just like, that was a fun one that I'll always remember. Yeah.
If you had a chance, what would you tell 2007 Admiral Fallow?
Give up. Stop right now.
That's a good question.
Don't know.
I think it's
Yeah, no, on you go.
No, I don't really know the answer to that, but I think one of the things that's quite funny, it's like when you've done anything for a length of time and we're not quite at the 10-year mark, but that feels like a real marker in time, a real milestone. And I moved to Glasgow about 10 years ago, so I'm sort of, it's on my mind quite a lot, and it's quite, I think it's interesting with the band because obviously we just started out like most bands, just friends playing songs, and then it becomes more formalised in a way, and we're sort of like colleagues now as well.
Okay.
So I think just probably something like just remember that where it all began, like remember the friendship side of it, which we have been part when we wrote the most recent album. We went away as well to write it in a different, we sort of went out the city, and that was quite important, I think, to get back to remembering that we're just kind of pals as well as workmates. So yeah, just keep on trucking, keep the faith, pretty much.
Yeah. Like we sort of had a little. It all was quite easy for us for a long time in a way. We never sort of achieved any massive chart success or anything like that, or any crazy world tours with any huge bands, but it was always kind of on a kind of nice gradient, and since then, obviously, just the way things go and the way the music industry works, is that we kind of, I guess we kind of plateaued a little bit, but maybe it's all right that's happened. You know, it's not very easy to make a living and doing what we're doing, and that's important to remember as well. So I would have probably said, don't worry if this isn't always amazing. You know, just keep, as long as everyone's happy, just keep doing it. But yeah.
Okay. And finally, what would you tell readers of our magazine, The Upcoming? Is there anything you want to tell them right now? We've got a lot of musical fans and everything, so.
Like recommendations or
what do you
just
want to
facts?
tell readers? Yeah.
An interesting fact I recently learned, although I'm not sure, I haven't spoken to any proper people who would know the answer to whether it was true or not. Apparently, at any time, only one of your nostrils is working. So your brain subconsciously tells your nose at another point to like switch to the other nostril. So if you like breathe out a little bit gently against your finger, you'll feel that it's actually only really coming out of one side at a time. Apparently that's true, because you don't need both. There you go. Try it at home, folks.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your time.
Cheers.
Thanks.